Hi, my name is Danielle Carter. The worst moments of your life don't always come with a loud bang. Sometimes they arrive on a quiet Tuesday night, served with pot roast and a side of laughter that isn't for you, but at you. We were at my fiancé Ben's parents' house for their weekly family dinner. The air was thick with the smell of rosemary and the low hum of conversation. I was trying to feel like I belonged there, sitting at the heavy oak table, surrounded by people who were supposed to become my family, but I never really fit. I was a puzzle piece from a different box. That night, I wore a simple black dress and a necklace my grandmother had left me. It was a single, deep blue stone set in what looked like tarnished silver. It was my most prized possession. It was my connection to the only person who ever made me feel completely seen. Ben's brother, Tyler, leaned across the table, a smug grin spreading across his face. He pointed a fork at my chest. "Danielle, what is that thing you're wearing? Did you win it at a carnival?" A few nervous chuckles went around the table. My cheeks burned hot. I felt a dozen pairs of eyes on me, all judging. Ben's mother, Carol, gave a tight little smile that didn't reach her eyes. "It's a family heirloom, Tyler," I said, my voice barely a whisper. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me, where in the world are you watching from? I love seeing how far this story travels. He laughed, a loud, booming laugh that filled the entire room. "An heirloom? Come on. It's fake junk. You can get something like that for $20 online." He looked around the table for support, and he got it. Smirks, shaking heads. My fiancé, Ben, just stayed down at his plate, cutting his roast beef into tiny, perfect squares. He said nothing. His silence was the loudest sound in the room. That's what they did. That's who they were. They saw me as the girl from the wrong side of the tracks, the one who wasn't good enough for their precious Ben. What none of them knew was that necklace wasn't just jewelry. It was proof of a much larger world they couldn't even imagine, a world where they were the small ones. Every gathering was the same. It was a slow, steady chipping away at my soul. They made backhanded comments about my job as a librarian. They whispered about the small apartment I lived in before I moved in with Ben. They judged the car I drove. It was a constant barrage of reminders that I was an outsider. Tyler was the worst. He was a real estate developer who'd had everything handed to him, and he wore his privilege like an expensive suit. He saw me as a charity case Ben had picked up. Ben, he was caught in the middle. Or at least that's what he told me. "They just need to get to know you, Danny," he'd say late at night, after another disastrous family dinner. "They don't mean it." But he never defended me. Not once. He would just stand there, a passive observer to my humiliation, offering a weak smile as if that could patch the holes that poked in my heart. That night, after the laughter died down, Tyler's smug grin returned. He had an idea. "Hey, you know what? I'm going to a big charity event tomorrow night. All the city's big shots will be there. I should borrow that thing." He winked. "It would be a great joke. I'll tell everyone it's a priceless sapphire. We'll see if anyone can tell the difference." My stomach tightened. "No, Tyler, I don't think that's a good idea." "Oh, come on," he pressed, his voice dripping with condescension. "Don't be so sensitive. I'll give it right back. What are you worried about? That I'll lose your precious costume jewelry?" The whole table was watching. I looked at Ben, pleading with my eyes. Asterisk, say something. Pleased at asterisk, he just gave a little shrug, as if to say, asterisk, just go along with it. It's easier, asterisk. Keeping the peace. That was my role in this family. I was supposed to absorb the insults, swallow my pride, and smile. Against every instinct screaming inside me, I slowly unclasped the necklace. My fingers trembled. I handed the cool, heavy stone to Tyler. It felt like I was handing over a piece of myself. He held it up, dangling it between his thumb and forefinger. "Perfect," he said, the light catching the stone. "They'll never know." He was right. They would never know, but not in the way he thought. What Tyler held in his hand wasn't fake junk. It was the key to everything my grandmother had built. My grandmother, Eleanor, wasn't just a sweet old lady who baked cookies. She was a brilliant, fiercely private woman who had built a small fortune through savvy investments. She trusted no one, least of all banks and lawyers after my grandfather was cheated out of his business. So, she created a system of her own. She invested her money into a secured private trust, one that was nearly impossible to access without the right keys. The keys weren't passwords or documents. They were 3 pieces of jewelry she had custom made: a ring, a brooch, and my necklace. Each piece was beautiful on its own, but their real value was invisible. My grandmother had worked with a Swiss security firm. Embedded deep within the setting of the stone in my necklace was a micro-certificate. It wasn't just a chip. It was a state-of-the-art digital authenticator, linked directly to the trust's main assets. The certificate acted as a digital signature. Any attempt to sell, pawn, or officially value the item without my biometric authorization would trigger a series of security protocols. The jewelry itself was the password. Years ago, when she gave it to me, she set me down in her sunlit living room. "Danielle," she'd said, her voice firm but kind, "this world can be cruel to women who are on their own. People will try to make you feel small. They will underestimate you. Let them." She clasped the necklace around my neck. "This is your protection. It's more than a pretty stone. It's your independence. It's your power. Never let anyone take it from you, and never tell anyone what it really is until you have no other choice." I had kept that secret locked away in my heart. To the Grahams, it was a gaudy piece of glass. To me, it was my grandmother's legacy. It was the promise of a future where I didn't need anyone's approval. And now, it was in Tyler's pocket. A part of me was terrified, but another, smaller part of me, a part that had been dormant for a long time, was curious. He thought he was playing a game. He had no idea what the rules were. The next day, I tried to put it out of my mind. Ben left for work, kissing me on the cheek as if nothing had happened. "Wasn't last night fun?" he asked, completely oblivious. I just nodded, a hollow feeling in my chest. That evening, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a social media tag. Tyler had posted a photo from the charity gala. He was standing with a group of men in tuxedos, a champagne flute in one hand. Around his neck, looking small and out of place, was my necklace. He had worn it himself, like a joke. The caption read, "Going undercover with the family jewels. Let's see who can spot a fake when they see one. #charity, #fake it till you make it." My blood ran cold. I scrolled through the pictures. There he was, posing with a local news anchor, pointing to the necklace and laughing. There was another photo of him talking to a well-known art dealer, the necklace glittering under the ballroom lights. His arrogance was breathtaking. He wasn't just borrowing it. He was flaunting it, making it the punchline of his entire evening. He was publicly humiliating me all over again, and I wasn't even there. Later, I would learn what happened next. Fueled by champagne and his own ego, Tyler decided to take the joke one step further. He slipped away from the party and went to a high-end, 24-hour pawn shop he knew downtown, the kind that dealt with wealthy people needing quick, discreet cash. He wanted to see what he could get for it, not to actually sell it. He'd laid a claim, but just to prove how worthless it was. He handed the necklace to the appraiser. "Just curious what this piece of costume trash is worth," he said with a smirk. The appraiser, an old man with a jeweller's loupe, examined it. He didn't see glass. He saw a flawless, uncut cornflower sapphire. But more than that, his store was equipped with modern scanners to detect authenticators in high-value items. When he ran the necklace under his digital scanner, a red flag immediately popped up on his screen. The scanner recognized the embedded micro-certificate. It sent a silent, encrypted alert to the Swiss security firm, which instantly notified the Associated Bank. The alert was clear. An unauthorized party was attempting to liquidate or value a primary asset key. The next morning, my phone rang. It was an unknown number with a Swiss country code. My heart pounded against my ribs. I answered, my hand shaking. Am I speaking with Ms. Danielle Carter? A man's voice asked. It was crisp, professional, and had a slight European accent. Yes, this is she. Ms. Carter, my name is Julian Croft. I am the head of asset security at the Helvetic Trust Bank. We are calling regarding a security alert on the Eleanor Vance Trust. We detected an unauthorized valuation attempt on Asset Key 37 Blue in New York City at approximately 2:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can you confirm the location of this asset? I took a deep breath. I believe it's in the possession of a man named Tyler Graham. There was a pause on the other end. Is Mr. Graham an authorized user of this key? No, I said, my voice firm. He is not. I see, the banker said calmly. Our protocol in such a breach is to initiate an immediate asset protection freeze. We have tracked the digital footprint of the unauthorized user through his credit transactions at the event he attended. The system has identified several financial accounts and lines of credit belonging to a Tyler Graham. Do you authorize a temporary freeze on accounts and assets connected to him, pending a fraud investigation? The world went quiet. All I could hear was the frantic beating of my own heart. This was it. This was the moment my grandmother had prepared me for. The moment when I had to choose. I could let it go, call Tyler, get my necklace back, and continue to be their punching bag. I could keep the peace, or I could protect myself. I thought of every smirk, every whispered insult, every time Ben stood by and did nothing. I thought of Tyler's booming laugh as he called my grandmother's legacy fake junk. Ms. Carter, the banker prompted gently. I closed my eyes and whispered one word. Yes. Very good, he replied. The freeze will be enacted immediately. It will affect approximately $1 million in liquid assets, business accounts, and active credit. We will be in touch. He hung up. I stood in my quiet apartment, the phone still pressed to my ear. I had just brought down an empire with a single word. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt a sense of calm. It took about 3 hours for the storm to hit. My phone buzzed. It was the family group chat. Tyler! *MY cards aren't working. What the hell is going on? *. Ben's mom. *Tyler. What's wrong? Call your father. Tyler. *It's Danielle. It has to be her. My bank says all my accounts are frozen. Fraud alert. Ben. Danielle. What did you do? My thumbs hovered over the keyboard, but I typed nothing. I just watched the panic unfold. A few minutes later, my phone rang. It was Ben's mother, Carol. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. On the fourth try, I answered and put the phone on speaker, placing it on the kitchen counter. Danielle, she screamed, her voice shrill and full of venom. What did you do to my son? You have ruined him. His business deal just fell through. They said his funding was frozen. This is your fault, you vindictive little snake. You were always jealous of him, of all of us. I listened, my face a blank mask. I didn't say a word. I just let her scream until she ran out of breath, ending with a choked sob. You fix this. You fix this right now. She hung up. I took a slow, deep breath. The silence in my apartment was wonderful. I let them feel the weight of their own arrogance. They had laughed at my fake necklace. Let's see how they felt about his very real frozen money. That evening, there was a loud, aggressive pounding on my door. I knew it was him before I even looked through the peephole. Tyler. His face was red and blotchy, his hair a mess. He looked like a cornered animal. I opened the door. You, he spat, pushing his way inside. Ben was right behind him, looking pale and lost. What did you do? My life is ruined because of you and that stupid, worthless necklace. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I simply walked over to my laptop, which was sitting on the kitchen island. I opened it. On the screen was the homepage for the Helvetic Trust Bank. I clicked on a link, entered a password, and a digital certificate appeared on the screen. It showed a picture of my necklace. Next to it were rows of numbers and legal jargon, but the summary at the top was clear. Asterisk asset key 37B, the Eleanor Vance Trust. Current estimated value, $4.2 million USD. Asterisk. I turned the laptop so he could see it. He stayed at the screen, his mouth hanging open. The color drained from his face. He read it once, then twice, as if the words couldn't possibly be real. Ben came and stood beside him, his eyes wide with disbelief. "The necklace," Tyler whispered, his voice cracking. "It's real." I looked him straight in the eye. My voice was quiet, steady, and devoid of all the pain he had caused me. It was just empty. "You called it fake," I told him. "Now you can live with the truth." He stumbled back, shaking his head. "You have to fix this, Danielle. Call them. Tell them it was a mistake. A joke. A joke." I repeated, the word tasting like poison. "Was it a joke when you humiliated me in front of your family? Was it a joke when you plastered my private property all over the internet? Was it a joke when you tried to pawn it?" Ben finally spoke, his voice weak. "Danny, please. He didn't mean it. Just undo it. We can fix this." I turned my gaze to him, my fiancé, the man who was supposed to be my partner. "We?" I asked. "There is no we, Ben. Not anymore. You stood by and watched. You let this happen. You were so afraid of not fitting in with them that you forgot to stand with me." The news spread through the social circle like wildfire. Tyler Graham, the big shot developer, was under investigation for potential bank fraud. His accounts were frozen. The investors for his new condo development pulled out immediately. The charity event that was supposed to be his triumph became the source of his downfall. The photos he had so proudly posted were now evidence. The family that once mocked me fell silent. The whispers stopped. When they spoke to me, the voices were filled with a strange, forced politeness. Carol called me once, her tone sickeningly sweet, asking if we could talk this through. I didn't answer. Their respect wasn't real. It was fear. They finally saw me, but not for who I was, only for the power I held. They saw the woman they had dismissed as cheap, as less than, and realized she could crumble their perfect world with a single word. But I didn't want to crumble their world. I just wanted to leave it. The most powerful revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's walking away. A week later, I packed my things from the apartment I shared with Ben. He watched me, his face etched with regret. "Don't do this, Danny," he pleaded. "I love you. I'm sorry. I'll make it right." "You can't," I said, zipping up the last suitcase. "You showed me who you are, Ben, and I believe you." I broke the engagement. I walked away from him, from his family, from the life where I was constantly shrinking myself to make them feel comfortable. 2 weeks later, I used a small portion of my grandmother's trust to buy a beautiful condo downtown, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the entire city. I never ended the freeze. The bank's investigation eventually cleared me of any wrongdoing and concluded that Tyler's actions were grossly negligent. They released his funds after months of legal wrangling, but his reputation was destroyed. I never saw them again. Sometimes I wonder what they say about me at those Tuesday night dinners. Maybe they are quieter now. I still have the necklace. It sits in a velvet box on my dresser. I don't wear it much anymore. I don't need to. My grandmother gave it to me as protection, but it ended up giving me something more important. Freedom. The freedom to be myself, away from the judgment and the whispers. That necklace wasn't just jewelry. It was a reminder that my worth was never up for their debate. It was a silent truth, waiting for the right moment to shine. And silence, I learned, is so much stronger than their laughter.